Redemption.
Be world champs again. It's unbelievable.
A dream realized.
You hit me? Yep. That matter what nobody say. Look at me. You did it.
An emotional comeback.
We were heartbroken last year, but this year was our turn.
There are a lot of words you can use to describe what the Golden State Warriors pulled off.
The only word to use now.
You are the NBA champions.
Oh my goodness, Dub Nation celebration out in full force in downtown Oakland. People getting up hours and hours before the sun rose to be here and see it in person, and we're here to bring it to you live. Crowds are quiet now, but boy, Sal Castaneda and Mark Ibanez, when the Warriors parade starts in about an hour, we can expect a much different scene. Thanks so much for joining us, and welcome to our coverage of the Golden State Warriors Championship Parade and Rally. We're going to be here for you for hours and hours, bringing you all the action live.
I'm more of a nighttime person, but man, if you're going to get up for anything, get going for a parade.
I'd like to pop up a map here that shows the parade route itself. It all begins in less than an hour here at 10 o'clock. Parade kicks off at the Warriors downtown practice facility. That's at 11th and Broadway. We are fanned out. We are bringing you just as many different angles as we can so you don't miss a thing from the best seat in the house, which is your couch. Every place you see a red dot, that's where we have a camera. We've got a news crew. We are fully ready to cover this for you.
We are underway, guys, yes, and you know, what would Clydesdale's pulling an antique? Well, it's actually not a fire truck, it's a Budweiser wagon. But,
beer wagon.
Without a Dalmatian in a Warrior jersey up there, what would it be without that? And it's going to be, you know, I'm not getting paid by them, but it would be a nice day for a Budweiser eventually here. You can bet on that.
Here comes that double-decker bus that's just making that big turn onto Broadway. This is the bus with Klay Thompson and Matt Barnes. Matt Barnes, of course, from the We Believe team.
What a story for him, Sal. Right. His first.
They actually saw some minutes in the game, in the finals games, and of course Klay Thompson. You know, Klay is such a chill guy, man. He's very even keel. He never gets too high, never gets too low. He's just going to be there. I wonder if he's going to be wearing his sunglasses. I'm sure they didn't let him bring his dog, but you know, he's just a chill guy.
You know what I like, and this goes to that personal aspect of things. I like seeing the families. Remember, boy, Riley Curry. Right. My goodness, she was one of the stars back in 2015. So I like seeing the families. I like seeing the, you know, everybody who helps these players be the best that they can be. That's what makes it special for me. Here we have another class, or a motorized cable car, not technically on a cable, of course. We are here in Oakland. Let me see, gentlemen, I'm squinting, I'm trying to see. I can't quite make out. I know we just saw Klay Thompson and Matt Barnes' bus. Coming up after that, we are expecting to see Jim Barnett.
I love the confetti.
There we are.
Yellow and blue. There's Klay.
Is that Klay?
I think
if that's Klay, he's very excited for Klay. That is very, look at him. That's very excited for, I've never seen him that excited.
Let's see.
There's Matt Barnes right there in the, on the right, in the middle. Kind of. Look at Klay.
That is Klay. He is pumped.
He is pumped.
Got the shades on.
He never gets his pump.
That is Matt Barnes, who played for the Warriors and made a tour of several different teams in the NBA. Came back, and he's got himself his first ring as a Warrior. Fittingly enough.
Right, when he still has that We Believe tattoo. There goes here's more of Klay and Matt and the rest of, I assume, their family and friends on this double-decker bus. Joe, what are you seeing from your vantage point?
You know what's cool about this, guys, and you know, it was a little bit of a fake out because we saw on those motorized cable cars team members, and again, that kind of tells you what the Warrior organization thinks of all the behind-scenes people, because they consider them team members as well. But then, if it's like it was 2 years ago, it's you know, 2 people per one of those high-rise buses. So Matt Barnes and Klay Thompson sharing it, and then all their friends and family sharing that same bus. Now we're going to look at Jim Barnett. You want to talk about a guy who knows history. Jim Barnett on some of those very early Warrior teams that we talked about when they first came to the Bay Area has been a long-time broadcaster, and I want to talk about somebody with perspective on what this means. All those years with the Warriors, trying to make those broadcasts interesting when, you know, they were anything but. So Jim kind of soaking it into and part of the family here as well.
Yeah, you're talking about the days, you know, I talk to people who've been longtime Warriors fans, and they say we couldn't give our tickets away. I mean, literally, people were just, the tickets, the seats were going unfilled, and they're thinking, I don't want to spend a Tuesday night doing that. So it's interesting how these days the same people are complaining to me that I can't afford to go, and they're even more afraid they might not be able to go once the Warriors cross the bay.
Yeah, one time I had 2 free tickets, couldn't give them away. I put them on the windshield of my car. I came back from the grocery store, there were 6.
Are you? Is that a joke or is that a real story? That's a joke. Mark Evans, you know,
Kevin Durant.
There you go. Let's pause for a moment and listen to the reaction if we can. You guys think these are the loudest cheers we'll hear all through the parade?
Maybe Steph and KD are going to share that honor. Mark, I just want to ask you, you know, KD, Kevin Durant, by some was criticized for joining the team that he couldn't beat in the West Coast Finals, and KD doesn't seem affected by that. He just came. He can look himself in the mirror. He came for himself. I mean, how long is the guy supposed to wait before he can win a ring? He came over here. And when he came over, he helped them win the championship.
Plain and simple, he doesn't have anything to answer to anybody with regard to that. Anybody can make a move in this country to better their lives, better their profession.
Right.
And that's what he did. And yes, it benefited the Warriors incredibly, but to speak poorly about him for making that decision in any way, shape, or form is really just out of line and immature. I mean, of course he has the right to come to where he wanted to. And not only did he come here because he liked the Warrior organization, but he's a guy with a lot of outside interest.
Bob Myers, general manager.
There's one of the architects of this great team, the general manager, Bob Myers, with his wife and daughters. But, you know, about that, Kevin Durant also has outside interests. He's interested in the Silicon Valley and has an investment company. And you know, he came here for a reason.
And that's Rick Barry, one of those cars. And coming up here is Shaun Livingston and Damian Jones, Patrick McCaw. Patrick McCaw, another guy who, you know, played some minutes, had a couple of moments, Mark, in the NBA Finals.
Yeah, Shaun Livingston's one of those guys on the bubble about whether he'll be able to return. Not that they wouldn't want him to, but whether they'll be able to afford him. And when you talk about Patrick McCaw, who had some great moments in the Game 5 victory, this is a kid who really came out of nowhere,
a rookie,
to make an imprint, and he'll be around
for a while. Look at Shaun putting his ear up saying, what? I can't hear you, what? Livingston, number 34, someone wearing that jersey on that bus.
And just to draw you in a little bit for the casual fans, Shaun Livingston had a devastating injury. He was a highly touted talent coming out of college, was expected to be a superstar. His knee injury was so severe,
I don't want to look at that
tape. Had his leg amputated. He came back, played for several different teams. The Warriors took a chance on him, and he's been a strong contributor. He's just one of those great human interest stories that's resurrected his career with the Warriors, and now he's a 2-time champion.
The stories of perseverance, the stories of having a goal and seeing it through, never giving up. I mean, look, I don't know how many little second graders in my son's class say that they want to be the next KD or the next Steph Curry. And when you think about the odds, and this, look, you've covered sports here in the Bay Area for I don't want to say how many decades. Think about the odds of being one of the guys in a parade like this.
It's incredible, yeah. And they, for the most part, really realize it because several on this team are veterans. They've been in bad situations. They know when a team doesn't have a good chemistry, and they want to be away from that, and they don't take it for granted.
One of our different cameras a little bit farther up catching Andre Iguodala and McAdoo's bus going by again. Remember, we have several positions along this parade, so here we are a little bit farther up on Broadway. I love that sign that said, "Yup, Draymond Green," ladies and gentlemen, the guy who many say could have helped bring this second championship, because when he got suspended, when the Warriors lost last year, he got on his phone and said to KD, "We need you." Had the Warriors won, Mark, it's very doubtful that KD joins the squad.
That's the way it all works out, and he said if Kevin Durant is the consolation prize. I'm glad we lost. That was a great quote from Draymond, who, to his credit, took it upon himself last year to admit that a lot of them losing was his responsibility and fault, if you will, because of the fact he got suspended.
Well, and on that note, I watched somewhat of a testy exchange between Draymond and a sports reporter. The sports reporter's like saying, so are you trying not to cause trouble? And he's like, I'm just playing the game. So, you know, he says how he feels and he says what he means. And I love what he said after the last game of the finals, because I had a long list of people that I was going to call out and I was going to, you know, shame and hate on. He's like, but that's all over now. I tore up that list. I don't need it today. As you can see from the smile on his face, is nothing but joy and soaking it in.
You know, Draymond Green can be said, he is the heart of the team. He is a very emotional player. And, you know, as some have said, you know, they don't win it without Draymond either, Mark. I mean, because of his emotion.
Oh, without question. He is the guy, because you've got some really laid back, as you mentioned, Klay Thompson. Steph Curry's not a rah-rah guy. And if you think about it, neither really is Kevin Durant. And Draymond Green gives him the fire and the spark. Sometimes they would, admittedly, like him to rein it in a little bit. We saw the downside of that last year in the finals when he was suspended for a game. But for the most part, there's nothing to criticize about Draymond Green. The guy brings the fire and passion every game.
You know what I love about him is that he may have not been discovered as early as he was had David Lee not gone down with an injury. They put this kid, Draymond Green, in. He plays really well, and David Lee essentially lost his job, remember?
No question, and Draymond deserves a lot of credit. As we see Matt Barnes, one of the first players actually getting out of the double-decker buses and interacting directly with the fans right there. And that's a veteran guy, been in the league 14, 15 years without a ring. He understands what this means. And you see him in the T-shirt and shorts there, mixing it up a little with the fans. That's cool to see.
That's Zaza Pachulia.
Yeah.
Look at him.
Certainly developed quickly into a fan favorite.
You know
He's
what?
one of those guys who took less money by far to come here and get his first ring.
And
Zaza.
And well worth it, certainly today, and as you look forward into his professional future.
JaVale McGee on that bus as well. You know, JaVale McGee,
Another
also a little
great
bit of a
story.
journeyman, and he took a lot of flack from other players in the league, from some of the professional TV broadcasters. Let's go to Claudine Wong, who's at the turn. They're just about to make that turn and come in front of Claudine. Claudine?
Yep, we've got the Warriors team members making their way down and around. It has been a fantastic parade. The crowd thrilled that this parade has finally made its way to the turn. And as they come down here, maybe I'll sneak across the street a little bit to see. We'll come back over here. All right, what do you guys think so far? We haven't seen any players yet, but here they come.
Yes,
Who's your favorite player?
Wow, that's a hard one. But I got to give props to KD, who came and wants to stay.
Yes, we love that.
Kevin Durant.
Okay, so got a KD fan. I'm on TV right now, but I will come back and take a picture.
They love Draymond too.
Oh, and they love Draymond too. Okay, here they come right now. Really, it has been such a remarkable thing to see them come down and see how this crowd has swelled and responded. There it is, the sign that says, "We believe." I want to see if I can walk down. Hey, hi. Wait, what channel 2? How has it been? How's the crowd been?
Oh, it's been awesome. Yes, the community.
Wait a minute. I hate to interrupt, but I think we have to. Look at that trophy. Look at that Steph Curry, along with his wife and 2 daughters. Riley, of course, a star in her own right, thanks to what happened in 2015. And little baby Ryan, far too little to understand what's going on, but still, certainly it's a moment that Mom and Dad will make sure she remembers forever.
And Larry, too.
That is the Larry O'Brien Trophy, affectionately known by the name Larry.
Yes.
To the players, right?
Larry has actually been to the studio, so we've actually taken pictures with Larry. So we're happy to have it here for you.
Were you asking earlier, Garcia, who you thought was going to get the biggest applause?
Yeah, I sort of was, because I think it's sort of a KD Steph Curry thing. So we can't judge by these audio levels, but I'm sure that Steph Curry, look, I hear more about Steph Curry and Kevin, and look at that. Let's go ahead and take a pause here. Let's listen to the crowd loving on Steph Curry.
We'll
There's
check
a
back
Donald
with
Foyle right there from the Warriors early 2000s team.
Former Warrior.
What do you think?
This is unbelievable, right? I mean,
we talked before about how the Warriors have changed so much over the years, and you've been there to witness it. What do you think of Dub Nation now?
I mean, I think that this is the fans' day. I mean, this has been an extraordinary journey, and to be part of it, it's truly mind-blowing.
It's awesome. Enjoy the crowd. Enjoy the crowd. So certainly we're receiving Alvin Adels behind him. How great this is, and how much fun. What do you think of the crowd?
Pardon me?
What do you think of the crowd?
It's terrific. Terrific. Each crowd is better than the last crowd.
I love that we can compare it.
Let's do it.
That's it. Let's do it again. All right. So it is here. And then we've got, it's hard to beat the guy behind us, right? You've got Rick Barry, and then we got KD and David West on this here. I mean, it is one of those things. There's no real way for me to get up there. I would love to. But it's like we're like banging on the door and trying to get in. Wanda, there's KD's mom, right there. KD's mom, can we just say hi? Hi. We want to get on the top. But we can't. So we're just gonna have to blow you kisses and wave you on the way. But isn't she a sweetheart? I mean, the funny thing is that we've been talking to folks, they're just excited to see Wanda Durant. They want her to make them peanut butter and jelly sandwiches out here because she has embraced this community.
Oh, she has. My goodness, Claudine, absolutely. I agree 100%. This is the part I love, Mike and Sal, when the guys get out and they give high fives. Person-to-person contact with these fans who've been out for who knows how many hours. I don't know if the men and women in this crowd have ever been to a Warriors game, but my goodness, they are feeling it right now.
Draymond Green giving high fives, walking down the street there. That's where the parade makes a turn. That's Broadway at Grand as they make that right turn heading out to the lake here. And here's Draymond Green walking among the crowd. He got off his bus. And it's great to see. I'd love a high five from Draymond if I had been waiting out there since 5 in the morning.
You and the 1.5 million people out here as well.
Waiting out
You're
there
right,
since
though.
5 in the morning.
It is a highlight when they get off the bus for that brief period. You don't realize how large these men are until you see them out in public. I was at a store in San Francisco and Draymond walked in.
Oh,
and
really?
even if you didn't know that he was a basketball player, you're like, that is one big
He's
man.
A professional.
I'm trying to get over to Coach Kerr. Hey, how's it going? All right, what do you think about this crowd?
This crowd?
Yes.
Well, there's only like 1 million of them, and they're all going crazy. I was expecting more.
You're disappointed. You know, what does it mean to see this team that has gone through so much be able to come back in 2017 and see to this crowd and say, we did it?
Well, what I'm proud about is that we came back from the heartbreak of last year, and our guys just put their minds to it and did it again. It's impressive.
It's amazing. What about Oakland? For this town to have this, to also come back from that heartbreak and see the smiles, everyone has been amazing.
I love Oakland. I love this town, and what's cool about the parade is that like Oakland represents all of us. You look in the faces of people. You got people of every race, color, religion, creed, whatever, and everybody's just coming together and loving this team. And
I love the fact that you're walking.
Cool.
You wanted to come out and say
Oh
hello.
yeah, I wanted to. I didn't want to be on that little trolley car.
And
I wanted to be out in the sun.
And you're feeling good?
I'm feeling much better. Thank you.
Glad to hear it. All right, I don't want to take him away from the crowd. There he goes.
And you know, the thing that's become a thing with the Warriors, there's Steph out
rallying
of his
the
bus.
crowd.
And there comes the Larry O'Brien trophy right behind him.
Right. I got a feeling he's not going to want to let that thing out of his sight.
No,
for
he's
at least
holding
a
it
month.
again, as he should.
Did you see the picture of Steph as we see him hoist the Larry O'Brien trophy in real life and live pictures? There was a little baby Steph sitting in a pool with 2 trophies on either side, sort of, you know, looking into the future. I thought it was adorable. But here he is.
He's standing on one of our news vans.
Is he?
Cool.
We'll never watch that news van
He's
again.
dabbing with the trophy.
Look. My goodness.
DJ KLAY, baby.
Can't hear enough of this song, can we? Take a look at this picture. It just continues to grow. People getting more and more packed. We see the stage literally is set. We're going to be seeing the Golden State Warriors take the stage hopefully here in the coming minutes. In the meantime, a lot of people migrating, if you will, from the parade route, which wound its way through downtown Oakland, over to Lake Merritt, and down here to the Henry J. Kaiser Convention Center. They're estimating 1.5, perhaps even 2 million people are going to be taking part, and we're so happy to be able to bring it to you live here. I think the best seat in the house on this one is going to have to be the couch, because, Sal, as I look at this, all these people came here, and now they have to get home. But let's not think about that now.
Well, and also, obviously, you have all the views that to all of our cameras. You can only see one view here. I want to bring my buddies Frank and Joe, because Frank, last year I was standing right there with you, with Joe.
Yes,
we had some nice conversations about sports and the Warriors and where they were going to go, and now it's your turn to talk to Joe. Take it away, fellas.
And can I just throw this out for what it's worth? Joe used to mentor me about 30-some-odd years ago when I was a sports guy. So
does that make me older than you?
Maybe by a little.
Yeah,
Not by much, but what a thrill. Talk about your journey from the parade route, just getting here. I mean, how many people?
I decided to walk the parade route. And,
no, you did.
You know, which kind of feels like running the parade route with your regular
confetti
clothes on. Yeah, what the heck? I saw a lot of. I didn't see a lot. I was the guy, you know, the guy that comes after the elephants, the last guy after the elephants?
The cleanup crew.
Yes, that was me getting here, but at least I got here.